involving Hillary Clinton just 5 days before Americans go to the polls. The FBI has been investigating the Clinton Foundation for more than a year, looking into possible pay-for-play deals between the former Secretary of State and donors to her family's charity. According to sources of our chief political anchor, Brett Baer, this probe is a very high priority for the Bureau, propelled by an avalanche of brand new evidence. Let's bring in Brett now. He is the anchor of Special Report. Why don't you catch us up, if people hadn't had a chance to see your show last night, and what sort of follow-up you've had today?
Hey, Dana. Two sources with intimate knowledge of the investigations, because you have the email investigation that's run by the National Security Division of the FBI and the Clinton Foundation investigation that's run by the White Collar Crime Division, the public corruption branch of the FBI. They have been going on, the Clinton Foundation investigation, despite some reports that it had stopped. It never stopped, and it continued, and it has been wide-ranging, involving 4 different offices of the FBI. It is being run out of the New York office, actually. They characterize the information coming in as flowing in because they have new information coming from the WikiLeaks emails that are showing some interaction between the Clinton Foundation and the time at the State Department, not only with Secretary Clinton, but you have also the emails about Huma Abedin, Cheryl Mills, who both at one time or another were at least tangentially taking paychecks from both the State Department and the Foundation, or Teneo, the company that's tied to the Foundation. They don't eliminate the fact that there is a split inside the FBI, not only between the FBI and the DOJ on how this is moving forward and the extent to which they believe it is substantial, but there's also a split within the FBI about this, and it is very out in the open, as you saw in the Wall Street Journal piece that came out today. That doesn't take away from the fact that there are people still going after it every day and believe that that they have a lot of information that's flowing in.
All right, we're going to take it around the table. We'll start with Eric.
Brett, can you shine some light on this discussion within the FBI about some of the agents and some of the higher level agents upset that the DOJ, specifically Attorney General Loretta Lynch, wanting to push back on some of the investigation into the Clinton Foundation, and whether that was what spurred Comey to actually come out and say there's a lot more we need to reinvestigate the Clintons?
Yeah, I think that that's part of it, Eric, and we don't have a lot of granular detail about the anger, but we do know that there was anger and is anger inside the FBI about how this progressed. Whether that, we don't have, the ability to go into Jim Comey's head, but whether that was part of his calculation with what he did with the letter to Congress, we'll see. Part of the calculation was clearly that Loretta Lynch met with the former president on the tarmac in Arizona, and that took her for the most part out of that equation and gave Comey the go-ahead to do what he did. I do want to mention about the hacking. There is really a lot of confidence, high confidence, that the private server of Hillary Clinton was hacked by some foreign intelligence agencies. One source said up to 5 of them. You'll remember back in July that Comey, when he made his announcement, said there was possible foreign actors possibly gained access. He went on to say that foreign hostile actors did go after and get into the personal email accounts of some of the people tied to Secretary Clinton. He then went on to say that Secretary Clinton's server was less secure than the average Gmail account. These sources point back to that testimony as being probably right on, and that he could have said at that time it's probable that they got in at that time in July, or even highly likely.
All right. Juan Williams.
Brett, it strikes me that he didn't say that, but I just wanted to ask you about some of the reporting that we've been hearing from you recently, because today on the campaign trail you have Donald Trump citing you as saying that there's likely an indictment coming on the basis of the FBI's work, and Donald Trump suggesting, based on innuendo, that the FBI is leaking this to become involved with politics and aiming at an indictment of Hillary Clinton. Is that right?
Well, first of all, on the likely indictment thing, that was an inartful way to answer a question at 7 o'clock, which I was asked about where it was going from here. The real situation is obviously these investigators are building a case. They are gathering evidence, and as investigators do, they feel strongly about the evidence that they have. But they still have to present it to a prosecutor, and then that prosecutor has to go in front of a grand jury, and that's the process. If not a DOJ prosecutor, then possibly a special prosecutor that could only be appointed by the Attorney General. So the process, it was inartful the way I said it. The people we talked to said they believe they have a lot of evidence and would continue that effort after the election, was my point, to continue to push possibly for an indictment. The fact that Donald Trump uses it on the campaign trail, this has been covered. It is a fact that the Foundation investigation has been going on for a year, that it is continuing. And unfortunately, the way I answered that one question at 7 o'clock obviously made it into a lot of headlines.
Indeed.
Morning.
All right, Kimberly.
And thank you for not avoiding the 5, because we're big fans of yours here. So as a former prosecutor, when you say, and I hear from investigators, that they have a lot of evidence, that's very sufficient to bring in front of a grand jury to present for an indictment. That's just the facts. It's not like you're putting a case in front of a jury trial yet with a different standard. To get an indictment, you have to show that there is the probable cause, sufficient evidence exists that a crime has been committed. It's not that high of a standard, to be quite honest, having tried and put many cases in front of a grand jury. Nevertheless, it sounds like this investigation is going forward, that it's got legs, as we say, and that what are the next steps, can you say, besides the fact of perhaps the special prosecutors? Obviously, people have some concerns about Justice or Attorney General handing it directly, especially given what's transpired prior to this.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see anything between now and Election Day. I don't think that, I think that this is a slow-moving process, that there is anger in some quarters inside about how this has been handled. And perhaps that's why, you know, some of this and other stories have come out. The Wall Street Journal kind of depicted that this morning in their story. I do think, and remember also, any target would have the opportunity, if there was a grand jury, to testify.
For evidence in their defense,
I think, yeah, and for evidence in defense. I think that there may be efforts to get people to cooperate if you get to that point. When we say a lot of evidence, we don't have a characterization of what exactly that is, but we can see the WikiLeaks emails coming out every day, and we can see what has been reported already about the various elements of the interaction between different companies and the foundation. We should point out that the campaign is clear, that they don't think that there is any violation here, that they tout the success of the foundation for doing good things around the world. The foundation itself put out a statement today saying that they're not aware of an investigation, but we can tell you that one is continuing.
All right, Gutfeld.
Hey, Brett, so they're like, going back to this, the fact that there are two things going on, it seems to me that one side, the Clinton Foundation stuff, it sounds like a quarrel between like the top brass and the guys on the street, like an episode of Beretta. And it's like another institution that seems to be rattled by 2016. Like every organization, institution, political or otherwise, seems to be having some kind of conflict that is born out of this election because no one is happy with the choices, so they're turning on themselves. They're devouring each other because they're so dissatisfied. That's one part. The other part is the story that I think is the big one, is what you mentioned. The hacking is huge. I mean, it sounds like it's like 99% certain. How can we get to 100% on that? What? I mean, I want to know. I mean, this is a big deal. That's a problem.
Yeah. If you ask any, well, first of all, on your first question, these guys are about the FBI. They're not about the politics, honestly. I mean, I've pressed a number of different sources, a number of different ways. As far as I can tell, they're not fans of anybody. They're talking about investigating. And as far as where we're talking about this hacking, they've thought that for a long time. If you talk to experts in the field, they would say that was wide open for a foreign intelligence agency to go in. The Clinton campaign can tell you that it never happened, but there's a WikiLeaks just this week that the IT guy, Brian Pagliano, emails that in 2 days they had 10 serious attacks that he notified the U.S. Secret Service about. Now, back then in July, Comey testified and announced that foreign actors had gotten access to people that Hillary Clinton emailed with. Well, it doesn't take, there was a New York Times story back in July that said it doesn't take a lot to connect one to the other, and the digital breadcrumbs are easy to get to the server. So there is a high confidence. And as far as how many foreign intelligence agencies, one source said 5, who knows, but it's more than one.
Can I just jump in? I know we got very quickly, Brett, there to the FBI shins going on simultaneously, right? So whether or not she emailed classified material and was hacked is one lane, and the other lane being whether there was corruption between the Clinton Foundation and various other actors. Either one or both could end up in an indictment of Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's true, and they're both continuing. Obviously, they're going through the Anthony Weiner laptop and all of that digging into. We've confirmed that they have the 2 other laptops of Cheryl Mills, the former chief of staff, and Heather Samuelson, top aide. We thought they might have been destroyed. They weren't. They're in the FBI office here in Washington, D.C. And you also have the emails that have already gone through, and the emails that they're just learning about. So, yeah, you have 2 tracks, the foundation and the email investigation.
All right, thank you, Brett. He'll have much more tonight on Special Report at 6 p.m. You can tune in then. Next, even more developments on the FBI's investigation of Hillary Clinton, and then later, a Fast to 7 plus a rare campaign address from Melania Trump. Stay tuned.
Left is the proverbial poop hitting the fan. You just heard Brett Baer on the latest news, but will it make a difference? What if the emails found on Weiner's laptop did come from Hillary's server? And what if there were new discoveries that actually had classified info? One of Baer's sources claims that Hill's server had been hacked, as he said before, with information stolen by at least 5 foreign intel agencies. If this is true, how will Hillary beat this rap? With this rap by her pal Lena?
My girl's a rider, progressive freedom fighter, going up against a dude who's a climate change denier. She worked harder than her man did, still saw her grandkid, and people have the nerve to ask her what her plan is. The plan is to win against hatred and slurs. Break it down in 3 words. I'm with her.
I swear, she must be working for Trump. Seriously, that is so bad it could turn Chelsea Clinton into a never Hillary. And sorry, Lena, the gender card has been so played out, it's falling on deaf, pierced ears. Look, if you already hate Hillary, this new stuff isn't going to change a thing. And if you already hate Trump, this isn't going to make you love him. Battle lines are drawn. Nothing sticks. But it seems like the truth is now the bull in Hillary's china shop. Remember, Nixon was pretty cocky, too, up until he wasn't. Events are now dictating the news, not the other way around. So even the edgiest celebrity and a sympathetic media can't help her. Now, you'd expect Hillary to explain these things, but perhaps she's just speechless. And maybe like everyone else she knows, she'll simply take the 5th, or at least drink one. KG, should she be freaking out, or is she just saying, hey, 5 days to go, hang back, no one cares?
No, it's time to freak out, I think. I mean, like Lena Dunham's songs, that's not going to help her. And when you say that this news hasn't made much movement, I disagree. Far much more movement than Chipotle in your stomach in the last few days.
Why do you always have to bring up that?
Well, I'm just tickled by your gastrointestinal issues.
It tickles my gastrointestinal.
But she's got them right now, too, I think, because the problem is when you see in the Fox, decision desk, moving different states on the map, you see the movement, things that were already like leaning Dem, going back now to Republican, you've got to be concerned because the momentum, late breaking here, is with him. So not with her. That's a problem.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Dana, there's research that says people have already made up their minds, but what about the undecideds? There has to be some undecideds that are going like, this is nuts.
Steiwalt describes that there's still some slack in the line. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but he says it a lot. But what he means
There are
is
pills for that.
there had been more undecideds before, but over this past weekend, one of the things that's definitely in Donald Trump's favor is that a lot of Republicans who might have been on the fence decided to come home. I know you're going to ban that phrase before Tuesday. So if you're Donald Trump, then you're thinking, okay, we've got the momentum, we've got some news cycle is on his side, and then as you saw yesterday, he says into the microphone, which I thought was kind of funny and cute, he says, okay, just stay on message, and he can do that for the next 5 days.
Yes, he's actually listening to somebody other than himself. Eric, should she respond?
They're in panic mode.
Yeah.
They're in panic.
But should she respond then?
She has no way to respond.
What can she do?
Here's how she has responded. Go ahead, release them. Let us know, James Comey. And then she takes shots at Comey. Well, I'm not sure you want that. All the stuff we're finding out, and we talked about Bill McGurn's piece in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, call her bluff. Yeah, call her bluff. Let the media, let the world sift through 650,000 emails. We'll get it done like that. We'll report on it by Friday or Monday. We'll let you know what's in those emails. But they're in panic. Bill Clinton today on the it was either last night or today on the trail, called worse than deplorable, all of Donald Trump's supporters stupid. He said Trump keeps these people angry. He started referencing race and geographic locations, and he was just off the charts, horrible, and said Trump likes to keep them angry because if they're not angry, they'll ask questions and they'll become smart, and he doesn't want them smart, calling every Trump supporter stupid. They're in panic mode. They're scratching. You can see this in life. When people are pressing or when they're in the zone, Trump is kind of in the zone right now. The Clinton campaign is pressing.
Juan, what do you think? Are they in panic mode?
Not close. But I'm entertained by the idea that Trump supporters very much want the idea of panic, and they very much want the idea that something is pending. And, a lot of this, I think, is sort of people who are hungry for Trump to have some advantage. But if you look at all the models, everything suggests there hasn't been any big shift. There was tightening before the Comey announcement.
There's no shift, Juan.
Can I finish for just a moment? Thank you. So, in other words, things were tightening before because, as Dana put it, Republicans were coming home. You could see consolidation of Republicans. And now we're at the point where, at least this morning, when you look at the tracking polls, New York Times, all of these, what you see is a 2 to 3 point. I think Real Clear Politics has about 2 or 3. And so what you get is a situation where at the moment, and I find this incredible, there's all this sort of equalization. So Donald Trump and his foundation, forget about it. Donald Trump and his insults to women, forget about it. Donald Trump and his racism, forget about it. So we don't talk about that. And so you say, Hillary Clinton, and it's possible the FBI suffering such a tremendous backlash. And by the way, I think that's to Hillary's advantage, that it has become involved and politicized to the point where people are questioning the Justice Department and the FBI. To me, this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy for America.
The tracking polls here today, Juan, you want to talk about tracking polls. IBD has it a tie. ABC has it Clinton +2. LA Times has it Trump +5. Real Clear Politics average is now down to a 1.7, in from about a 6-point Clinton lead about a week and a half ago. This is with a week?
It's more than a week. But no, it's not. I keep telling you that what has happened is Republicans, I keep quoting Dana, come home to Trump, okay? But you don't ever see, I think you look at all the polls, you look at them, there's none that shows Trump suddenly expressing a great lead, or that Clinton's wall of states, the states that have given her such a tremendous advantage in electoral college, has somehow diminished. It's just not there.
Whoa. There are a lot of people moving some solid blues into lean blue, or from lean blue into leaning red.
That's just not real. But I think it ill serves the audience when you give them this false impression.
Where's New Hampshire? Let's be out here. It's not false. Where's New Hampshire? Blue or red?
Right now, I think it's close. That's what you're saying. But it still leans towards Clinton.
All right, guys, enough. One of the most infamous curses in sports history was finally broken last night. A World Series fastest 7 ahead. And later, Melania Trump gave a campaign speech today in the swing state of Pennsylvania. See that coming up.
Rising America abroad. Bring the change we're chaining for. Better, strong, prosperous. A few.
Donald Trump, this man.
Who likes it? Anyone listen to this?
Wait, I'm going to show. Yeah, I think that's
not a topic for Clinton.
Putting a dangerous thing. When I come home, I go through the like a pig.
Respect with.
They're the
people, though. Goes to watch a game. Clinton or the cut. You have the
going on.
Yes.
I would say the community pretty well.
Juanito.
Sad. Really take which they had in it. Was America's other one stick in terms of a lot of so that's
All right, they say 3.
For, you meant the one I pay for is this the service that unfair. You know, he advertising invest news breaking on it every day. It's
Cable show.
Telling me the tease. No, CNN say question. See done of that, and that's in a minute. And rare people on they will put.
throwback. CNN suffered a huge embarrassment and was forced to sever its ties with DNC Chair Donna Brazile after it was revealed that she was feeding debate questions to Hillary Clinton. Now, President Jeff Zucker expressed outrage, but he still isn't disclosing the results of an internal investigation into where those questions came from. There's all kinds of bias on full display over at the Clinton News Network this week alone. Here's one of CNN's legal analysts expressing suspicion about the timing of the FBI's release of its files on President Clinton's pardoning of Mark Rich.
The official statement from me is give me a break. I have made FOIA requests, and they take years. It is a very difficult process. It can sometimes take 15 years. And the idea that they were obliged to do this on top of Comey's statement about Hillary Clinton last week, it just shows at least that they are oblivious and incompetent, if not actively partisan in this presidential race.
And although the Wall Street Journal reported that the Justice Department intervened to stop the FBI's investigation of the Clinton Foundation, one of CNN's reporters dismissed the notion that politics was at play as a conspiracy.
Behind the scenes, there's also been several investigations that were ongoing in 4 different offices, Los Angeles, Little Rock, Washington, and New York, into allegations of impropriety in the Clinton Foundation. And behind the scenes, because some agents thought that things weren't moving fast enough, they started believing conspiracies that perhaps politics were at play. It turns out that a lot of what they had, Carol, was based on this book called Clinton Cash. It was published by Peter Schweitzer, and he's now an editor at Breitbart, but a lot of the allegations in there have not been substantiated.
All right, so Dana, you worked at Justice. What do you think of these comments by Evan?
I think I would be very reticent to ever criticize FBI agents and their integrity. So I don't think that's a good strategy for Hillary Clinton's team, and I think that there could be a possible IG investigation into all of this because it has been unusual, and I think there might be a call for one. I do want to point out one thing. On the file that was released about Mark Rich, we were emailing about this the other morning and said, I think I figured out why that happened, is that Eric Holder that morning had put out an op-ed in the Washington Post criticizing Comey on the same day that former Attorney General Mukasey had done the same. So it's not like that was a partisan thing. But Eric Holder was the pardon attorney at the Justice Department when the Mark Rich pardon got approved. And I think the FBI people are like, oh, really? We'll just make sure that everybody is reminded of that. That's what I think happened there.
Boy, I hope you're wrong. Because, I mean, again, you know, what you just heard from Jeffrey Toobin, you know, it's a suggestion the FBI now is settling grudges, Dana?
I don't know.
I just think more of the FBI and Jim Comey than this. I'm just so disappointed that suddenly they find themselves now, you know, viewed as an arm of the GOP or the Trump campaign. How sad is that for the great FBI? You see stories in the paper now comparing Comey to J. Edgar Hoover, again, getting into the gutter politics of trying to harm a campaign. They had no business in this, and you've seen this from left and right.
Really?
Not just liberal media, but conservative media, our own Judge Napolitano and others saying, this is wrong. And that's why I say, you know, people say, oh, well, this is who's going to believe.
But obviously the
I think the counter instinct is people saying, gosh, this is the FBI. If they're doing this, something really is wrong. Somebody is trying to skew an American election, and it is corruption on the part of the FBI.
But what about the part of CNN and the role that they're playing is and the commentary that they have? I mean, this is, you know, not a good news day for them or for a news cycle in terms of their involvement and being complicit. They had to let one of their people go that was greatly admired, somebody that a lot of people liked.
That's a different story, but I agree with you. That's not good for them. And this is the Donna Brazile story we're talking about, Kimberly. What is interesting to me there is networks, including our own, paying people, you know, who have a relationship to one campaign or another, which, as a journalist, I thought, boy, that's odd. I remember Britt Hume saying to me, he thinks it's odd. But now it's commonplace. And in the Donna Brazile case, Jeff Zucker says, oh, we know exactly what happened, but he doesn't tell us what happened.
All right, we get bowling in.
No, they fired her, and they did, and they should have fired her. And I called for her to be fired, or actually called for her to step down from the DNC as well as being fired 2 weeks ago, and she should still do that. One, how can you say that James Comey is playing politics when he, under oath, with his hand raised at the hearing, the prior hearing, where he recommended, where he was going over what they found, Hillary was reckless, et cetera, et cetera. At the hearing, he was asked, okay, Mr. Comey, would you, if you do find more evidence, will you re-examine the case? Under oath, he said yes. They found more evidence. He's just doing what he promised he was going to do. He swore he would do.
And what he was prevented to do by everyone getting immunity deals and deleting emails.
Review any evidence because that would be illegal.
That is absolutely incorrect, Juan. If evidence of a murder falls in your lap, you can't ignore it. You cannot, by law, you cannot ignore it.
It's so wrong. I don't even know where you get that from.
Greg, clean it up.
I like eggs.
Come on.
No, I mean, regarding the way when we're talking about CNN, I will quote the Bible, and I never quote the Bible. He that is without sin among us, cast the first stone. We'll be right back.
Wrote it, Greg. So the first time, Melania Trump took center stage on the trail today, delivering her first major campaign speech of the general election. The highlights when the 5 returns. Stay with us.
In 5 days, there's going to be an election. And we've got you covered right here. All-day coverage on the Fox News Channel, America's election headquarters. Don't miss it. The 5 will be here Saturday. Today, on the trail, Melania Trump made a rare appearance. She gave her first major speech since the RNC.
We are deeply grateful to the millions of Americans who believe in my husband because they know he believes in you. As Donald travels the country, he has asked some simple but very important questions. Do we want a country where every American gets a fair shot? Yes. Do we want a country that honors our Constitution? Yes. Do we want a country that honors life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Yes. Do we want a president who is a fighter for us and will never give up? Then we want Donald Trump to be our president.
Dana, so this is the first time she's been out since the problems at the Republican National Convention. She went to Philadelphia suburbs, Berwyn, apparently to appeal to women voters. What do you think?
Smart strategy, because that's where they've been down with college-educated women voters in those suburbs. So I think that's really smart. She also talked about the importance of something she cares about, which is cyberbullying, which is online bullying, like social media bullying. And I could not agree more. I think we should do more about it.
So, Eric, she talked about coming from Slovenia and her personal path. Were you moved? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, and I especially like Mike Pence's wife introducing her. I thought it was a great strategy. As Dana points out, the suburbs of Philadelphia is where he needs the most help. It was very nice. I'd like to see it.
And Kimberly, what did you think about the way she came across? We haven't seen her in so long. Why'd they keep her in hiding until now?
I don't think that they kept her in
hiding.
I don't think so at all. I mean, she's independent. She's her own woman. She speaks her own mind. She's not like, delicate flower. I mean, she looks like a beautiful flower, but she's not a delicate flower. Meaning she's out there. She's supporting her husband. I thought she did a very good job, and I'm glad she had an opportunity to do a speech that was widely covered. I think it's tough, as a woman and as a first lady. And then what happened, at the convention, and then coming back here, I thought she did a fantastic job. And I'm sure the people there enjoyed it as well, and those who watched at home.
Greg, what about if we had Bill Clinton and Mrs. Trump? What do you think? What do you think?
Well, I don't want to know what he's thinking. No, she actually, out of everybody involved in this 26th campaign, she deserves the most sympathy, because she was probably the last person who ever expected to sign up for this. When she get married, she's going, this will be great. Go to parties and have kids. I don't think she ever saw this coming. And the fact that, I always go to this. Imagine if you were thrown into that situation in another country. If I were in Russia as a first man or whatever, I would be hiding under a bed. I wouldn't have to hide. I could just
But you got to give her more credit than that. She's an asset to her husband.
No,
and
I just gave her credit. What do you want, Kimberly?
I want you to be respectful.
What did I just say? Well, she may be enjoying it too.
No. I think it's been tough for her.
The thought of being first lady. That's got to be enticing to be in the White House.
They wanted an endorsement.
They want me to endorse her. Okay, I endorse her.
All right.
Now you may go back to your room.
Greg's off the fence. One more thing up next.
What do you want?
Being detected was not an option. If I was recognized, the whole operation was blown. The element of surprise was imperative.
Wow. He won't even recognize you. Seriously. I don't even recognize myself.
And thanks to my Cash Rewards credit card from Navy Federal with never expiring rewards, it's gonna be a killer honeymoon.
Woo! Maui!
Boom.
Open to the armed forces, the DoD, and their families. Navy Federal Credit Union.
At the Clinton Foundation, spend 90% of all the money that is donated on behalf of programs of people around the world.
But what did the Clinton Foundation's own 2014 IRS filings show? Less than 6% of money spent went to program donations, but $7.8 million was spent on travel, $12.4 million on meetings and conferences, and over $34 million on salaries and benefits. If this is what Hillary does with her own charity, imagine what she'll do from the White House.
Great America PAC is responsible for the content of this message. Everybody has a flashlight, but can your flashlight do this? Or how about this? The Bell & Howell Tactical Flashlight can. Similar to flashlights used by elite military units, the Bell & Howell Tac Light can do things no ordinary flashlight can do. It's so bright, it can be seen up to 2 nautical miles away. And if that something that goes bump in the night turns out to be someone, only a tac light has a super bright strobe that can stun and disorient would-be attackers. A car battery will stop working in sub-zero temperatures, but even getting frozen in a block of ice couldn't make our tac light stop working. And it'll keep working when fully submerged in water, even 212-degree boiling water. It's tough enough to survive getting run over by a Humvee. Try that with a regular flashlight. Compact and lightweight, it goes where you go, so you can feel safe in dark places at night, or just have the right light for emergency situations. And there's never been a better choice for camping, fishing, or hunting. What else? Buy preset modes. It's made of high-grade aircraft aluminum. The bulb lasts 100,000 hours. There's just nothing like it on the market today. But this offer won't last long, so here's how to get yours.
Tactical flashlights of this quality are selling right now for $60 or more, but Bell & Howell has slashed their price to just $19.99, and they'll even ship it to you free. Plus, every tack light comes with a lifetime guarantee. And that's not all. Order today and you can get a second tack light. Just pay a separate fee. You can get 2 Bell & Howell tack lights backed by a lifetime guarantee for the amazing price of just $19.99 and get free shipping. Here's how to order.
To get your tack light for only $19.99 and get a second one free, call 1-800-923-7541 or go to trytacklight.com. This offer is not available in stores. Call 1-800-923-7541. That's 1-800-923-7541 or order online at trytacklight.com.
Here's a message for my fellow veteran homeowners. With mortgages close to their lowest rates ever, now's the perfect time to refinance. The low-rate Refi VA loan from New Day could save you hundreds a month, thousands a year. And at New Day, you pay no points, no lender fees, and no appraisal fee. Even if you've talked to another lender, let New Day help you refinance with a VA guaranteed loan at today's low rates.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-855-601-3269.
All right, it's not about a dog. This is one more thing, and I don't have a dog. I have my other favorite thing, country music, because last night was like my World Series and Super Bowl all in one, the Country Music Awards. And the co-hosts were Carrie Underwood and Brad Paisley. They opened the show. That monologue was really funny, and they sang a Randy Travis song about the election. Take a look.
The election is taking forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever. Make it end. When the going gets tough, you're the guys that can just that tough. So tough. It's different for girls.
Okay, that was Dirk Bentley, and he was singing with somebody you like, Elle King.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that was the musical event of the year in 2016, Different for Girls.
Look at Greg's
you do
face.
like her.
Greg, you were kind of singing along, actually. I want to note that for the record.
Yeah, making fun of me. Kimberly, you're next.
Okay, fantastic. In Kimberly's gaming news, no Nexio needed or supported. All right, so this is about gambling, because since we were just in Vegas, imagine if this happened, because if this happened to me, I would lose it. So what happened is this poor lady, she's an unemployed mother of 4 who actually grew up in foster care, thought she hit the big $43 million jackpot on a slot machine, which would change her life forever. She went to go play it. It said, you know, you're the winner, $43 million. They're like, oh, sorry, malfunction, escorted her from the casino and offered her a steak dinner instead. Apparently, because they have a disclaimer on there that says malfunctioning the machines voids tickets, and the maximum payout on that machine would be a total of $6,500, not $43 million. But she has a lawyer. So let's see what happens. But the poor thing, she's really bummed out. They could have at least given her a free room for a week or something. Which one was
this? Yeah, they
this?
better make that right. They better fix that.
They're in hiding. We're going to get back to you on that.
All right,
Special reporter have it for you.
Time for Greg's Secrets to Happiness.
Oh, results war.
All right, you know when you're going to get some food, always try to arrive early, and do not try to cut in line like this young little whippersnapper did. If you see over here, couldn't get it. Whoa! That's what happens if you showed up early. Let's watch that one more time. This is what happens when you don't show up early. Whoa! Oh, yeah.
Oh, I bet he doesn't do that again.
No, because he died.
Oh my God! Now we're going to get emails. Can you say something?
All right, I'll go quickly.
I was joking. I was joking.
We got to save some time for Juan here at the end. Okay, very quickly. Last night had a wonderful time with the Women's National Republican Club in New York on 51st Street. A couple of pictures very quickly.
When do you miss
There's
the game?
Adrian with the president, Robin Weaver. Here we are again very quickly. Next picture. Quick. These are a bunch of people from there. Also, Ronnie Pearl is the booker there. Fantastic. Great bunch of conservative women. I'm telling you, they are very concerned about a Hillary Clinton presidency. They don't want any part of that. Any part of that.
And
So
they have a beautiful building over there, too.
They sure do.
Juan.
All right, so big news, as everyone knows, it's been a long time since the Cubs won the World Series. 108 years, as Mr. Bowling told you. And, of course, things were very different back then. For one, Wrigley Field didn't exist, opened 1914. Also, women couldn't vote. 19th Amendment not passed until 1920. 3, no black baseball players, not until Jackie Robinson came on the scene in 1947. And finally, there was no sliced bread, Greg. No bread.
Or toaster.
My gosh.
But you notice it's
white.
white.
This is like Back to the Future. Remember, Back to the Future predicted that the Cubs would win the World Series last year, but they got it right this year.
All right, that was a great one, Juan. Set your DVR so you never miss an episode of The Five. That's it for us, and Special Report is next.